Greetings, welcome back to Friday 13th YouTube channel Metalheads. Today I've got a fantastic album review for you. This is by Arizona's thrash metal act, Atrophy. Now, the band are about to release their new album called Asylum on Massacre Records, released on the 15th of March. Check it out, this is one hell of a comeback, Metalheads. As we all know, Atrophy were formed in Tucson, Arizona in 1986. These guys are fantastic musicians. As a five-piece, they did some really good demos back in the day, which released an album called Socialized Hate on Road Racer Rodent Records. Now, the band were originally formed back in 1986, and the band released their debut album, which was called Socialized Hate. This was a fantastic album, originally released back in 1988. But the original lineup would be Brian Zimmerman on vocals. Now, Brian's still in the band today, he's the only original member. Back in the day, the band would also feature Chris Larkins on guitar, we'd have Rick Zolkon on guitars, we'd have James Golter on bass, and Tim Kelly on drums. Now, the band's debut received some fantastic reviews around the world, especially with magazines like Metal Forces. The band really did some really good touring and played some fantastic shows locally. After the successful Socialized Hate album in 1988, the band released their second album, Violent by Nature, in 1990. This was a fantastic follow-up album. Now, I got to see these guys live supporting Sacred Reich back in the day in Bradford, England. Some of you guys might have sailed that tour. But they did some fantastic support slots playing with the bands such as Slayer, Exodus, Testament, Dark Angel, Forced Entry, DRI, Flotsam and Jetsam. The list just went on. Fantastic second album by the band. Now, for some reason, the band broke up after this album, only to return in recent years. Like I said, the new album, Asylum, is going to be released on the 15th of March on Massacre Records. Coming from Tucson, Arizona, the band did a lot of gigs with Sacred Reich and Flotsam and Jetsam. Very similar in style, but they have their own identity as well. So the new lineup, the current lineup for the new album for the Asylum would be Brian Zimmerman on vocals, like I say, a long-time vocalist. We'd also have Mark Colgan on guitars. We'd have Nathan Matolova on guitars. We'd have Josh Gibbs on bass guitar. Now, Josh is also involved with the death metal band Malevolent Creation, a fantastic death metal band from Florida. We'd also have new drummer Sage Johnson on drums. Now, this new album features 9 songs. I'm going to tell you what the song titles are for this new album. We'd open up with Punishment for All, High Anxiety, Seeds of Sorrow, Distortion, Bleeding Out, American Dream, Close to My Eyes, The Apostle, and the last song would be 5 Minutes Till Suicide. So that's the song titles for this new album. And I've got to say, this is a really brutal comeback album. It's still got elements of old Atrophy in there, but it's still got a lot of modern sound. Now, I have to say, this new album has old elements of Atrophy's previous albums, but it's also got a fresh approach with a lot more brutality, but it's still heavy thrash. Now, this album was produced, mixed, and mastered by Alex Parra, who's done a fantastic job. Every instrument really does shine through, even the brutality of the music. As for the artwork, this was done by Ramayo Dias, who's done a fantastic job, as you'll see in this review. This album also features some guest musicians. We'd have Krogan Liam on guitars, on lead guitars for the song American Dream. As we know, Krogan's in the band Heathen and also been involved with Exodus. Also on this album on bass guitar for the American Dream and Close My Eyes and Distortion will be Justin Steer. Now, the opening track, Punishment for All, is a really heavy, slap in your face opening track. It very much reminds me of a band called Evil Dead, a little bit of Exodus, and as I said, old school Atrophy. All three went very well in favour for this song and this album. Brian's vocals on this song really do shine through. And as for the song, it's very technical, but very heavy in places, but it's still technically old school thrash metal with a modern vibe and freshness. And if you like the first 2 albums, especially the Violent by Nature, this is a really good song for you. It's a really good album. Now, the next song, High Anxiety, kind of reminds me of something that Creator would do, the heaviness of Creator. But I'm not saying it sounds like Creator. It's just got that heavy approach that Creator would do. It's a very technical song and very well-balanced tune. This song also has elements of destruction. I can just imagine Schmier singing this song. It's come across really well. But like I say, Atrophy are back and they're still fighting hard and playing some fantastic new songs. Next up is Seeds of Sorrow. This is a really heavy song in places, very brutal, but it's also got that slow, mosh sort of vibe that the old school thrash bands used to do. There's a lot of feeling and emotions in this song, and it's really well balanced. Brian's vocals are fantastic, and so is the guitar playing by Nathan and also Mark. Rhythm section by Jonas and also Josh, the original drummer, is to perform extremely well as well on this song. Next song, Distortion. This kind of reminds me of 2 old school thrash metal bands from the Bay Area. We'd have Lars Rocket and Heathen. All in all, there's not one bad song on this album. Every song really does shine through. It's very powerful, very melodic, but still very brutal. Now, I have to say, this is a fantastic comeback album. It's very heavy, very brutal, and very solid. Production is second to none. I'm going to give this album 4.5 out of 5. I think it's a great comeback album, and you can't go wrong with this, metalheads. If you like the two previous albums, you're in for a treat with this album. Long live Atrophy. Check out more album reviews coming soon. Thanks for watching, metalheads. Be safe.